Verdansk is back and there are a bunch of new settings, but don't worry, I got you. Let's get into the video. I'm gonna show you all the settings you need to change right now. First and foremost, let's go over the new settings. I want you to go over to your settings, head over to interface, and go to your gameplay HUD. Here, I want you to scroll down to map assist. Pretty much they added some new settings and I'll go over them. There's a couple different ones, right? By default, auto center will be on. This is pretty much gonna be whenever you open up your map, it will center on your player. The next one is auto zoom in center. This one's pretty simple as well. It's gonna center on you and then it's gonna zoom into the minimap so you can see things just a little bit more clear. Then there's zoom in center once, which is gonna center on you once and zoom in only once throughout the entire game. And the next one is center once. You're gonna click your map button and it's only gonna center on you once throughout the game. Honestly, zoom in center once and center once, I wouldn't even use. What I'm gonna personally be using is auto center. This is gonna allow me to always be on the center of the screen whenever I bring up my minimap. I also have the ability to zoom and zoom out freely. But I do think some people are also going to be using auto zoom in center. This is going to make it to where you don't have to do anything. You just click your map and it's automatically center and zoomed in. This is one of the big changes that they added, so make sure you are ahead of the curve here. Next is going to be stamina bar. I'm going to be honest, I personally don't have this on. I don't like it, but this is good for anybody who's new or hasn't been returning to the game. There's this thing called auto attack sprint. It's pretty much like stamina. And there's a bar that pops up that tells you how much stamina you have left. Right now, you can kind of learn what your stamina is without even having to have the bar on. But if you want to see it visually, head over to the same exact place, gameplay HUD, scroll one down to the stamina bar. Here, you can have it display near your health really close, or you can have it display near crosshair. If you want it to be more visible, but it will get in the way maybe just a little bit, I would put it display near crosshair. But if you want to be able to see it, but you're going to have to look down and to the left, it would be display near health. Now, the next one is custom ping duration. This one is a new one as well. All this is gonna do is pretty much wipe any pings on the map that you have, and you can have it set to infinite or set to a certain amount of time. By default, it's set to off, but I went ahead and changed that to on. I'm gonna have this at 20 seconds, so that way whenever I ping anything, after 20 seconds, everything's cleared from my map. That way, it makes things a lot easier to see and visibility is a lot better. Next, under gameplay HUD, I want you to go up to the HUD bounce. This right here, I want you to bring this as close to the center as possible. You could line it up to your monitor, but personally, when you move things as close to the center as possible, your HUD becomes a lot easier for you to see, so you don't have to turn all the way left, all the way right to see things. You just have to move a little bit of your head. Now, the next one, I want you to go down the gameplay HUD as well and go over to your crosshair, and I want you to change this to static. It's gonna make it to where your crosshairs don't move and jiggle all the way. In my opinion, when it's not static, it makes your aim feel a little bit off. I personally will always have this on static. Then I want you to hit show more, click square, and I want you to scroll down to have the crosshair dot on, center dot. This one's up to preference. I like largest because I want to be able to see my center dot fat in the middle. This is gonna help me aim a lot better and center onto enemies. Crosshair spread, I have that off. Crosshair opacity, I have it to 100. Now, let me give you some secret tip that nobody knows about. Go over to your crosshair color, and I want you to copy this number down at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and go to the hex code and put in FFFF00 and then apply custom color. This is going to be a neon yellow crosshair. This is gonna make it to whenever you're playing the game, it's so easy to tell where your crosshairs are, and it's gonna make it incredibly easy to aim. I've given this to so many people, and I promise you they swear by this. Now let's get into some of the settings that you absolutely must have, from aiming to graphics to sound. I got you covered. So first, let's go over the aiming. Head over to your controller settings, and I got you covered here. For button layout, this one's preference. I use tactical flipped. I'll tell you right now, if you don't have some type of trigger stops, I would highly recommend to play on flipped. You would scroll down to the very bottom, and it would say swap L1 R1 with L2 R2. This is gonna make it where you have less travel distance whenever you're aiming and firing your gun. I promise you, if you still are using triggers, you are behind. For sensitivity, now this is very important. They've done a bunch of different changes of sensitivity. I don't know why Call of Duty does this and they make things complicated, but I would stick anywhere from 1.5 to 1.7. This is gonna be anywhere from 6.6 to 8.8 back in the day. I use 1.5, DS Biffle uses 1.5. New players that are really good like Dongi, Shifty, they use 1.6, 1.7. I believe Soka uses 1.7 as well. Play with this as you want. I would go as low as 1.5 if you want to have a really straight shot. And then if you want to be a little bit faster at the expense of a little bit of accuracy, I would go up to 1.6, 1.65. And then if you want to be even higher, you could go 1.7, but I wouldn't go higher than that. This, in my opinion, is one of the most important settings, and I think the biggest thing that people get wrong is having too high of a sense. I promise you, if you use some crazy high sense, turn it down. It's going to be a little bit slow at first, but then after a while, you're going to see you do not miss. Now I want you to head down over to the Deadzone input. This one's really important as well. For left stick, I have this set to 0. This, you can put this to whatever you want. I wouldn't go higher than like 5, but I have this on 0 because I want my left stick, my movement to be very, very fast. Now, left stick maximum, this one's very important, and I know it's going to seem weird, but head over and put this to 65. What this is going to do is make the outer limit of your stick a lot less. In essence, it's going to take less time to hit maximum auto attack sprint to be able to run faster. These are very microseconds that make a little bit of a difference, but I think everything does help. So switch this over to 65. For right stick minimum, I personally like to have just a little bit of stick drift because it helps activate aim assist. I know aim assist is broken. That's insane to say, but I have this set to 2. I would play with this anywhere from 2 to 5, I think is a sweet spot. Anything over 5, it kind of feels like you have control and delay. Now head over to your aiming advanced settings, and there's a couple things I want you to change. Head over to your ADS sensitivity transition timing and set that to instant. Aim response curve, this one's very important. Set this to dynamic and make sure to hit square. Make sure your aim response curve slope is set to 1.0. Dynamic right now is incredibly broken. Don't listen to anybody telling you to use linear or standard. Use dynamic, it's broken. Now, make sure your target aim assist is on because, again, aim assist is incredibly broken and I think it should be nerfed. So yeah, make sure you have it on. ADS aim assist on as well. Now let's head over to movement here, and I want you to go over to your sprint assist. Make sure to have this on tactical sprint assist. This is gonna make it to whenever you move forward, you automatically go into a sprint. You absolutely need this. Now hit square to show more and make sure the sprint assist delay is on 0. This is gonna make sure that it activates instantly. Sprint assist sideways on and sprint assist backwards on. For mantle assist, make sure to have that off. For crouch assist, make sure to have that off. Corner slicing, this one's up to you. This one's preference. Whenever you're rounding a corner, your gun will turn sideways and it kind of gives you like a peeking feel. It doesn't give you any type of advantage, and honestly, I hate this because it makes my crosshairs look funny. I have this off. For slide and dive behavior, I'll tell you this now. If you are not on hybrid, you are absolutely selling. Hybrid makes it to where you can tap to slide and also tap to dive at any given point. If you want to slide, you just click your slide button and it activates instantly. If you want to dive, you click your L3 plus your slide button and then it dives. Make sure you have this on. I promise you it is worth it. Automatic airborne mantle, make sure to have that off. Sprint restore, have it on. Slide maintain sprint, turn that on. Parachute automatic behavior, have that off. We want to get as far down as possible before we have to pull our chute so we don't get shot out the sky. For mantle cancels reload, have that on. Now head over to movement advanced settings and let's change a couple things here. From here, I want you to go down to grounded mantle. I promise you, make sure to have this on. There's a bunch of little settings that help drastically make the game feel smoother. This is one of them. It's gonna help you mantle over things because right now the mantling is not the greatest. So if you have a little bit of help, I promise you it's worth it. DS Biffle swears by this setting. Now let's head over to combat here. There's a couple ones here. I want you to go down to the armor plate behavior. Make sure to have that set to apply all. Then let's go over to combat advanced settings. I want to change a couple things here too. For interact reload behavior, make sure to have prioritize interact. This is going to make it to where you're picking up things instantly instead of having to hold it, but then also being able to reload whenever you're not trying to pick up anything. Now, another major setting is sprint cancels reload. Turn this off, especially if you have automatic tactical sprint. This is going to make it to where you can reload, and as soon as you click your left step forward, it doesn't stop you from reloading and interrupt you and make you mess up. So 100% make sure to have this off. Now for the next one, let's go over to your graphic settings. These are going to be different from player to player, so make sure to use whatever you guys think is viable, but I'm going to give you the best settings to maximize FPS. So first and foremost, make sure you're playing on full screen exclusive. I want you to scroll down and make sure your screen refresh rate is set to the highest possible. I have it set to auto, which is 479.989. Again, shout out FPS Hub. They're the GOATs. They got me a 5090 and an absolutely crazy PC. You can go ahead and find them in the description down below or go to Twitter, FPS Hub. They are absolutely GOATs. Now, I want you to scroll down and go to NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. Make sure to have this on plus boost. For these next ones, make sure to have VSync off here as well. And these other ones are not too important. Now let's head over to quality here, and these are where things actually start to matter. Make sure to have your render resolution set to 100 and go to upscaling and sharpening and put that to fidelity cast. Now hit square and go show more. This one you can play with. I have it set to 50. If you put it all the way up, your enemies are a lot easier to see, but personally it makes the game just look a little bit ugly, so I have it just set to 50 to make recordings look nice. I have frame generation off, AMD FSR off, VRAM target scale 70, variable rate shading on. Now for these next ones, you can choose to do whatever you want. I personally have my settings to maximize FPS because I am competitive. So I'm gonna go ahead and go down all of these, and you're gonna see everything is set to absolutely low or off. Everything is off, everything is low to maximize FPS as much as possible. Now, if you want to make your game look a little bit nicer at the expense of a little bit of frames, head over to texture resolution and you can change this to whatever you'd like. Then I would go down to particle resolution and I would turn this up to normal or high. This just makes things a little bit more HD looking. Those are the two settings that I would change if I really wanted to make my game look just a little bit nicer. Now let's go over to view. Here, I want you to make sure you have this set to 120 FOV. Yes, if you're on console, you have this option now. Make sure your ADS field of view is set to affected, your weapon field of view is set to wide, your vehicle field of view is set to wide. Scroll down, make sure your world motion blur is off. You do not want that. Weapon motion blur is set to off. First person camera movement, make sure to set that to least 50%. Third person camera movement, least 50%. And then make sure to have inverted flashbang off. Or you can have this on if you'd like. Now let's go over to sounds. This one's not too crazy complicated, so if you're on console, make sure to use these settings. I want you to go ahead and turn on Audio Mix Treyarch Mix. This one, I played with a lot of these settings, and I personally like Treyarch Mix the best. Now I want you to scroll down, and I want you to go over to asymmetrical hearing compensation. I don't know if this is a placebo. A lot of people swear by this. By turning this on, it makes footsteps a little bit better. So if you want that, you can go ahead and turn it on. Now let's go down to reduce tinnitus sounds and turn this on. A lot of people say the same thing, and this reduces a lot of excess noise. Now, if you are on PC, use the exact same settings that I have here, right? But I want you to do one more thing. Go to your bottom right, click your sound, and open up this menu right here. I want you to click whatever it is your audio is and go to properties and then go to enhancements. Make sure to turn on loudness equalization. This is gonna elevate footstep sounds on PC. Yes, this is broken, and if you're on console, I am sorry, but hey, it does have it here and it's built into the PC. The boys officially back with the squad on Verdansk. Let me know if y'all wanna see more videos too. Solo squads are coming.